What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we're checking out this Supreme Steering outer tie rod end fitting all 6 lug 2005 through 2023 Toyota Tacomas. Now if you have started to feel some extra movement in your steering system, tie rods are usually the culprit, and this will serve as a solid factory style replacement to that outer link. Now the factory steering system is not bulletproof, especially if you've put on more aggressive tires that will cause extra wear. So even if you haven't started feeling any negative effects, but you want to maintenance your truck, this is a great part to do it with. Bad tie rods can cause a less controlled driving experience when it comes to your steering. With wandering tires, your steering can feel a bit sloppy, and it can even get clunky if the ball joint's not working as it should. This, however, will allow the proper movement, reining those tires in for a more controlled experience on the road, much better than the worn set, and reintroducing comfort into your ride. Now this will only come with one, so if you only need to fix one side that is worn worse or is causing the issues, it is going to allow you to do that instead of buying a whole set that you may not need to yet, kind of giving you the flexibility to maintenance your truck as you need to. Now this is going to have a very similar construction to the factory one, being a bolt-on fit. The end will be made of a high-strength sintered metal construction with a black oxide coating, just like factory, to resist any rusting or corrosion on the metal underneath. Now the ball joint will also have a standard rubber boot, and you're also going to have a Zerk fitting, so this will be greasable to allow you to service it and help prevent any bindings or failures in the future. This will also come with all the hardware in the kit, so you're not going to have to use any of the factory hardware, refreshing it with a new cotter pin, jam nut, and castle nut. This is about $60 and is pretty average for an outer tie rod. Now while this is similar in the factory design, this will include a greasable design, as to where most will not include a Zerk fitting for maintenance, which will give this one the one-up and make it worth the extra couple bucks. It also allows you to maintenance your truck on your own schedule with one, rather than having to buy 2 or 4 inner and outer in a kit. So if you want a well-designed option that's going to allow you to do that, this is going to be a great pick. Now install is going to be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should take you about an hour or so to get the job done. I do want to mention that you will need an alignment after the install, so make sure that you take your truck over to get that done when you're finished. Now at this point we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get this onto your Tacoma at home. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install you need an impact, a 22 and a 19mm socket, a hammer, a 15/16, 7/8, 13/16, 15 and 8mm wrench, needle nose pliers, a grease and grease gun, and anti-seize. And also you might need a torch or some type of heat. Alright, today we're going to be installing an outer tie rod on our Tacoma, so let's get started. Alright, so first thing we need to do is get our cotter pin off, then take our nut off, and then we'll get our outer tie rod out of our knuckle. First we're going to take a pair of needle nose pliers, bend back our cotter pin, and we can pull that out. Alright, then we're going to take our impact with our 19mm socket, take off our castle nut, then we're going to grab our hammer, hit right here on our knuckle to release our tie rod out of it. All right, now we need to unthread our tie rod from our inner tie rod. All right, now that we have our tie rod out of our knuckle, we need to get our outer tie rod end off and our jam nut. Now we're going to use a 15mm wrench to hold our inner tie rod, a 13/16 wrench to take off our outer tie rod, and a 7/8 wrench to take off our jam nut. Now this has been taken apart before, and it was actually pretty stuck on there, pretty rusted. So you may need to use some type of heat, whether a mini ductor or a torch, and also some lubricant to work the outer tie rod and the jam nut off. All right, so now we have our 15mm wrench holding our inner tie rod. We get our 13/16 and break free our outer. You may need to use a 7/8 real quick just to break free that jam nut. All right, and then you could just spin that off. Like I said, ours will come off pretty easily, but we did have to fight it before. May take some time. All right, now we just need to take our jam nut off. Quick note, it'd be a good idea to count how many threads there are or mark them. So when you take this off and you put the new tie rod on, you can put it in the same spot just to keep the alignment pretty close. All right, now we're gonna put our new jam nut on. So we have a little bit of anti-seize. Just gonna put that on our threads just to keep everything lubricated. All right, so we'll thread our jam nut on. All right, and now we just have our tie rod. We have our grease fitting on the bottom. You can just thread on. Use an 8mm wrench, tighten that down. Then we could just thread that onto the inner tie rod. All right, just make sure you have that jam nut close to where it was. Once we get this in our knuckle, we can tighten everything down. So I just want to put our tie rod end into our knuckle. Grab our castle nut, thread that on. We're going to grab our impact and 22mm socket and tighten that down. Get that so that you can line up the holes. Get the supplied cotter pin. Put that in. Back it off just a little. All right, then we'll grab our needle nose pliers and bend that around. Lock that in place. All right, now we're gonna grab our 15/16 wrench for our jam nut, 15mm wrench for the inner tie rod, and just tighten down our jam nut. And just tighten it down to where it used to be. All right, now we're gonna grab our grease gun and grease up our ball joint here. All right, now you can go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. All right, and once you have that done, I would highly suggest getting alignment done on the truck because the alignment will be off after adjusting these outer tie rods. All right, and that wraps up our install of our Supreme steering tie rod end outer for our 2005 to 2023 6-lug Tacoma. And remember, for everything Tacoma, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.